Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature. Yes, Starlight is always going to inspire you to come on, come on. You know, the house, it's great to be there, to sleep, to eat, but you got to come on out, come on out and play. Don't be afraid to come on out. I know, especially when people are going through some hard times, it is tough to get out. I've been there, done that, and I don't have the t-shirt on that. Is that it is hard when you're struggling with stuff to come out. But really, you will thank yourself later on when you do. So, like even if you're inside, open up the curtains, let the sun in. Open up the windows, let the air come in. Get some, air inside if you're struggling to get outside. But it's so vitally important to come on out. Even if you know a loved one where you could say, hey, next time you go out hiking, if you don't want to go out hiking by yourself, find somebody that loves to go out, and hike that is safe, and or maybe somebody that likes to go to a park, is to say, hey, could I go with you? If you don't want to do this on your own, you don't have to do this on your own. You can find a family member or a close friend that would love to bring you with them, and it shouldn't be a problem with them to bring you along and to get you out of your house. So anyway, I love you. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. You could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget, you could share my videos with your family, your friends. Let's see, a duck. Yeah, we got ducks. Duck, goose, you're it. So yeah, ducks and a butterfly. You could share my videos. Ooh, there goes Starlight flying around again. What the heck is up with that chick? Starlight's high right now. So yes, you could share my videos with a butterfly. And don't forget, don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say, hi, Starlight. You can feel free to leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Say hi. Or even if there's something that you're going through and you need help, please, 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 you can leave me a comment like somebody did. Thank you so much for all your comments out there. It is so important. I want to just take a few minutes and say thank you to all of you that are new to my YouTube channel, and of course those of you, you who have been there the whole entire time. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for all of you that give me a thumbs up or even leave me a message or you share my videos. Aw, thank you for sharing. Sharing is such a good thing. We all should share, is to, I give you, my wisdom, my time, my energy, and it should be a give and receive kind of energy. So anyway, I love you all, and don't forget, you can check out my playlist, and you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. Woo! So anyway, today, this is a video here today for somebody that is going through some stuff, and many of us have gone through this one form or another, and it's a hard thing. One of the hardest things to experience as a human being here on planet Earth is when we lose someone we are really close to or related to. Maybe you have a friend or a family, or associates. It could be even a person at your workplace. Or people that have lost their pets. So it is very sad, when those things happen. And Starlight has gone through that on so many different levels. And I say levels because each person that I knew that I lost, or even a stranger, I've actually have been traveling around the United States, and I even went at a park one time. I didn't even know the person, and Starlight was trying to sell things at that park, and then I found out, like, one of the ladies that were out there helping homeless people, you know, her life ended. I'm not sure how that happened, and they were trying to collect donations to help out, with the family that lost their loved one. And I didn't need to know who the person was. Even though Starlight didn't have a lot of money, I donated what I could to help out because I needed to. That was the right thing for me to do. And so, like I said, there's each person that I lost in my lifetime. Whoops, sorry, Starlight's got a tickle. Is I had different emotions on each person that I lost. It is strange how this happens, I might have lost in my lifetime, besides pets. I had lost a lot of pets growing up as a kid. Then, so many different ways of losing, things, not things, but people that we love or pets. Like people have miscarriages. I've had one. I've lost close friends when I was younger that were there. They were great friends. They were there. They helped me out, through different things in my life. I've had people that weren't taking really good care of themselves, that I spent a lot of quality time with that person that, was an alcoholic, but I've known him for a long time. We partied together, I spent a lot of time with that person. He was like in the 70s, in his life. I was going to head to his house, and the next day is when I got the news that he was no longer here. And then I recently, about a year ago, I lost my brother. That was that was very difficult to lose him as a brother. He was somebody that I never thought. I thought, that we would live our lives till the end of time, but his time, it was his time. That was God's. He was suffering, and it was really better for him not to be suffering anymore. He was at the end of his life for years that he was suffering. And then I lost a beautiful, sweet, elderly lady that I used to clean for. She was like a mom figure to me. She was like a mom to me, put it that way. She was everything that I could have wished for in a mom. So, and that was very hard. I spent a lot of quality time with her. And so, yes, losing people is very hard. And so thank you for, sorry, the sun here, everything's kind of shifting here, is, oops. Sorry about this, because the grass is, I don't like that background. Let's see if I can move this around. Sorry, everyone. So Starlight's just got to adjust her. No matter what, I'm going to have cars or something in my background. So this video is what Starlight went through, losing all these different people. Like I said, you might have lost different people in your life, or it could be somebody like your mom or dad, people that you're really close with. And some people that you might lose in your lifetime, as far as them not being here anymore, that it was their time to leave this planet, is I want to explain before I say any more, is that energy, we're all made out of energy, and energy never dies. It only gets transferred. So even though they're not physically here, they're still here in a different form, not the same way that we were used to. And that really helped me out when my brother passed away, and so it's like they're entering into another realm here, like the spirit world. And so they are, not in a bad place, It just, that is where they are. And so it's better to know that they're still here with us, but like in another, if the best way I can explain it, like in not that they're in another dimension, but they're another, with the spirit world, that they're still here with us, but in another way, another form of being here still. So you understand that it happens when the universe, or God, it's their time. And there's always a time for people, to move on. And it's like recycling. That is how I look at it. It's like everything is getting recycled in life. I'm sorry, I'm like in the heat here in the sun. So Starlight's got to shift down before I turn into a lobster out here. Starlight does have to hold on because I got to get some water. So sorry, because that heat I have too much clothes for the sun right now. Now, this is really hard. I've experienced, like I was saying, with so many different deaths in my life, people that I was really close to long time ago, and this is how I actually became a Christian. And this is, there's so many ways of looking at when we lose someone, and it is a very touchy topic, and it's very hard. This is something that I've seen everybody struggle through. So if you're going through this, you're not alone. Everyone goes through this, the time of losing someone, how they struggle. And Starlight still today, even with my brother, like today, for instance, it was a beautiful thing. So I got to share this with you. Is I was walking in this area and I found some mint, some peppermint, and it was wild peppermint growing on the side of the road. And it's kind of weird because my brother and I knew our herbs out in, he knew plants, and I am really connected with plants and animals, and my brother is the same way. And a man, I didn't even know this, he was in it was just a dirt gravel parking lot area, no cars were there, and I was just walking on the sidewalk heading this way, and the man was just in an empty parking lot, and I just happened to pick some mint. Hang on. So here's the mint that Starlight, want to smell? There's some mint. And so Starlight was gathering this, and at the same time I was gathering this mint, a man was walking his dog, and he noticed me, grabbing this mint, because you can have tea with this, is that I let him know. I'm like, hey, do you know what this is? Because he seen me picking it. And so that is how we met today. And so we got talking about plants, and I said, oh, what's your name? And he said, Doug. And that was like, wow, that was mind-blowing. I was like, wow, this man was so much like my brother Doug, but not looking like my brother Doug. But it's like, the way I took it today was, this is like God, they can go into other beings or animals, in this, still here, like the third dimension, fourth and fifth, is that it's still in the same space, like in this, like this is planet Earth, where the same thing, like I could be in the fifth dimension, and someone else in a lower frequency, a low vibration, could be in the third dimension. And the fifth dimension is a higher frequency, a higher vibration, where the third dimension, the 3D, is a fear frequency, and the 5D, the fifth dimension, is a higher frequency of the love frequency. So you have two different dimensions, fear frequency and love frequency. So you could even be shifting from a third to a fourth, back and forth sometimes. Sometimes you could be in the fifth, or you can go back into the third and kind of shift back and forth. So it's the same kind of thing with people that pass through that are no longer here, is that they can actually kind of go in to, like today, meeting this guy. His name is Doug. My brother was into herbs. Now this guy here really didn't know about herbs, but we got talking, and all the stuff that he was talking about and how he was talking was just like my brother, but not that loud. My brother, when he was here, we talked our ears off with each other. We talked about deep topics, deep conversations that most people could not grasp. And that is how this man here today, totally different age, didn't look the same. And there's other times that when I walk around, I see people that resemble my brother Doug, even though it's not my brother Doug. There's times that there's animals that's like there's different animal spirits or whatever. You might see different animals. What does it mean when I see a red cardinal? That could be like, where the universe is using a red cardinal or different animals to let you know about your loved one that passed away. So they're not like, like the way people are with the Bible, like that they went to a horrible place. It's not like that. It's, they're where they are, for that is the way their journey is, that they're here to do what they had to do, what they had to go through, to experience the things, the lessons that they had to learn. And they're just getting recycled, so it's not like they went to a bad place. So, we're all going to go through that at one point when it's our time. And, there's not everybody's going to agree with us on what I'm talking about. And that is okay, because everybody's at a different conscious level in life. So some people might not even be conscious enough to even understand what I'm saying. Then there's other people that are going to understand this way better than Starlight does. But today was a blessing to talk with this man, because he was so much like my brother that is no longer like physically here, that looks like my brother. Like, I believe we all have twins, many different people out there. I've met so many people. I've met people that look like I didn't meet them in person, but I've seen them at a distance that look like my mom. My mom lives in New York. But then I see somebody that I'm like, wow, that looks just like my mom. So energy never dies. It only gets, like recycled here. And so things happen for a reason. Nothing happens by accident, and there's no coincidence here. And so a long time ago, when I had a friend, he had two names. Dave was his real name, but his friends would call him Chico. He was a family man, had two kids, and three kids, two daughters and a boy. And he really did. He would take the shirt off his back to help anyone out. And a sad thing is that him and his wife got divorced for whatever reason. Later on, because of the divorce, he went downhill, was hanging out with the wrong kind of people, and had a drug overdose. And it was sad, the whole family went through a lot with this story here. At the time, I was lost. I didn't know God. I had no clue who God was. I wasn't brought up to know about God. But you know what? I went to the funeral with all the people. This guy, Chico, Dave, was a party guy with his, his wife really didn't party, but, smoking marijuana and having beer and listening to music. So a lot of the people that went to this funeral were his party people, the people that we hung out with and partied with. And he was a great guy. And at that funeral, I didn't know, I ended up learning about God because this man passed away. So it was like his life ended physically here, but because of his death, it totally turned my world around. I needed to know about God and learn about God. I needed to go to church and learn what I did to be who I am today. So it wasn't necessarily a horrible thing, even though somebody lost their dad, somebody lost their husband. It gave life to me. It actually helped me to work on myself. It totally changed my whole life. I started to learn how to be a good person. I started learning about the music that I was listening to was not good. I started learning how to be a better mom. I started learning to take better care of myself. I started to learn the music that, like I said, the music. I started learning about the things that I was watching was not good for me and not healthy. I started learning about the food that I was eating wasn't good. I learned so much, and it was because this person, was no longer there. And if that didn't happen, I might not be here today because of where I was at that time in my life before he passed away. So, and that is why a lot of people, when they do lose somebody, they, depending on their background, they could have a church service, they could have their pastor, because they care about people and they love people. They could have a church service because they're hoping that other people will learn to know about who Jesus is. And I'm not here to try to get anybody to church. I don't go to church. That was a lesson that I needed to learn. Those are lessons that I needed to learn. And now I am living a different life. I'm learning about spirituality. I would not be able to have my YouTube channel today if everything kind of spiraled to when that he lost his life. And yes, his family, his children lost their dad. And, it's sad when people lose people like that. Believe me, I know what the pain is like. I get my days with my brother, where I'm, like I was going through a phase not too long ago where I just kept on talking. And it's good. It's good to, remember, my brother, we had our fun, exciting, crazy, wild times. I made videos on my YouTube channel about exactly what I was going through during the time when I lost my brother. It took longer than I thought, when I did lose my brother. And this is something I don't think anybody can actually just say that they're good with this, that they lost some. No, we all struggle with that. That is something that, we will all struggle with at different times, like holidays and different things that will trigger those moments and times that we had with those loved ones. But remember that they're in a good place, and people's lives could have changed. There's so many different stories of people. There's people that have gotten angry with God, not understanding that why things happen the way they do. There's people that their lives have changed. They end up learning that some people, they might have not have been there for somebody, and they could have took advantage of somebody. And then when they're lost, when they are no longer here, their lesson was I should have been there more for that person. So then they're going to grow and realize, I need to be there really for the ones. And that is why it's so important today, is anyone that you do have in your life, is to, make sure you're there, give them their flowers today while they're here. Be there for those people that you got a great mom and a great dad, people that are there. And I'm not saying that you weren't there. You could have had a great relationship with your mom and your dad or whoever that you lost. But these are for people that weren't, there's people that were not there for those people, that their loved ones, there's so many different angles on why we lose people out in the world. And, it is tough when we do lose those people. Believe me, I had with my brother, I had all kinds of different emotions that were going on. I had all kinds, we had exciting and fun, crazy times. And we also had times of getting in each other's faces, but we, there was that love that we always had for each other. And when I get sad and lonely, I know what it's like. I miss my brother. He was always somebody that no matter what, I could go to him and talk about things to him. So there's times that we will have with, those times, when we need somebody to talk to, that might have been your go-to person. But you got to understand that where they're at is, it's in a good place where they're at. They're just going through a time in their life right now, just to, like I said, like my brother was struggling. He had health issues. He was going through a lot. And now he's not here anymore suffering. He was really going through a lot for a long period of time. And a lot of it was because he wasn't taking good care of his body. So we can learn on people like my brother. He was smoking cigarettes, and he was stressed out a lot, being afraid, had a lot of fear in his body, in his mind. He was afraid a lot, and so we can learn a lot about the people that we did lose in our life to show us things that we, like when my brother passed away with a cigarette thing, because that was part of his thing, that lung cancer, is when I saw cigarettes out on the sidewalk, or a pack of cigarettes, when I seen it, I would stomp on those cigarettes. I would crush them. I would ruin them, because I was like, this took my brother away. This horrible, thing that they have to sell cigarettes that ruins people's lives. And I made videos on my YouTube channel trying to help people that do smoke cigarettes. He tried to quit. He did quit smoking cigarettes, but it was too late. It was too late for, he didn't quit soon enough, because he smoked some cigarettes that were really cheap, and it was causing him to choke a lot on those particular cigarettes, because they were dirt cheap. And so I love you so much, is, you could pray to God about this and ask God, because that person that you lost, whoever, your mom, your brother, sister, they're here. You just gotta realize that, like that man today, his name is Doug. It just blew me right out of my mind. I was like, and when we talked, he was a fast talker, just like my brother. Like, there's many times after my brother passed away, I felt like he was with me here. It is crazy. I felt his presence here with me, watching over me, trying to get my attention. It really mind-blowing is, My car doors, for no reason, were shutting. My car was on a flat surface. I had my doors open, and I was grabbing stuff, and the wind wasn't even blowing. But I sensed it was my brother here. Still, like I said, just like the third dimension, third here, fourth and fifth, even though it's in the same planet Earth, like we're still in the same planet Earth, but in different frequencies. And that is how I can explain with people that have passed through. Don't believe that they are in hell, that they're burning in a lake of fire or any of that stuff. That is a state of mind. That's a mindset. That's not, like a real thing. We can create hell on here, on planet Earth, and we can create heaven, depending on how you're controlling your thoughts. We create our reality, and so we're here to learn lessons. So if we put negative energy out and only focus on bad stuff all the time and think of how horrible life is, then you can make your living hell. But if you want to look at the beauty and see the beauty around you, you can make your life here like heaven. So I love you so much, and this is a very hard topic. And there's many people that don't understand. Like I said, not everybody's going to understand it, and some people, they do. They're upset with God because their loved one is not here anymore. But like I said, it does change a lot of people's lives one way or another, and it is, it really gets people to think. It helps people to look at their own lives and, what they're doing and what they can change. And that is what happened to me, is my whole life, sorry about this, when that man Chico passed away, it changed everything. I wanted to end my life over and over again. I wanted to end my life. After I got saved and accepted Jesus in my heart and asked God to forgive me for my sins and all that stuff, when at the funeral, a year later on, I started going in a church, and it totally changed my life. It gave me hope. I started learning about stuff. I started understanding why I was drawing bad things to come in my life, because the way I was wearing my clothes, the music, the crowd that I was hanging out with. So I really hope that this really helps you out. And it is a tough topic to talk about. This is not anything to take lightly, but those people that have passed away, they are in good care. I just want you to understand that they are being well taken care of. It's a like a cleansing that they can go through, like the things that they've endured in their life. So it is not a loss. And just really pay attention to your surroundings, like if you see animals, look up on your phone, what does it mean? Like, what does it mean when you see a red cardinal or different animals? And that could be a sign from the universe saying that your loved ones are thinking about you. They're there, they are there with you, but in a different form, not in the way that we're used to. So anyway, I love you so much, and it is not easy. Like I said, I've lost many in my lifetime, and each one I felt different about each person. But my the elderly lady, and I lost a Christian man that was serving God and going out and witnessing to so many people. He had a small church. He got married. He had kids. I bawled my ass off for that man because he was a great man. But look at how many people's lives he changed because he had a pure heart he was doing the best that he could, reaching other people. His heart was in the right place, and he changed so many people's lives. And God gave Jesus his only that is a lot. And look at what, by God giving his only begotten son to die on the cross, so we didn't have to go and burn in hell, and have gnashing of teeth. God gave everything, his only begotten son, so that we could have a better life. So that is very powerful there. And so now we get to, we don't have to go and burn in hell. God gave us a free will. And that, who could ever do that, really? Who could give their only begotten son? So I love you so much. And look at what happened with Jesus, how many people's lives have changed because in the name of Jesus. So really be mindful that everything happens for a reason. We're not always going to comprehend everything that does happen, but you got to just trust that they're taken care of and they're safe. They're in a good place. I love you so much, and this is Starlight, and my heart does. If any of you have gone through anything like that in your life, my heart goes out to you. I feel your pain. I know what that feels like. And so I really hope that this video was very helpful for anyone out there that is struggling or have struggled. And just pay attention to your surroundings. Ask the universe, can you talk to God, talk to whoever you talk to, God, the universe, higher power, whatever your name is, whatever the name is that you have, or if you pray, can you send, can you show me, like an animal, can you bring an animal that, like that could be your person that you lost, that comes and just says, hey, I'm here with you. You're not alone. They don't want you sad. Those people, they don't want you sad. They want you to remember the good times. They would really want you to not end your life by not living your life. They would want you to go out and enjoy life. Get out of the house. Connect with good people. Connect with people, of like-mindedness. They want you to eat healthy. They want you to be happy. They don't want to see you sad. So remember that. They want the best for you. So that is how you could just, if you need help, there's help out there. You can reach out for help. It's never too late. They have a lot of people out there, support groups, counseling and therapy. If you're really struggling, I really inspire you to do that. You need to talk to somebody out there that you can trust. There's therapy out there, counselors out there. You really need to do that if you're really struggling day to day, and if it's depressing you, please reach out for help today. Don't put it off. I love you so much. This is Starlight. I love you. You could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't feel afraid. You can swing by and give Starlight a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos with your family or friends. A red cardinal or a crow. You never know what animals are out there that, is... Sorry about this noise effect out here in the background. But, yes, got some characters out here. So, yes, they're out here with you. They're still here, but in a different form. I love you so much. This is Starlight. And you can also check out my playlist, and you can also follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I don't know why. This is a lot of noise just happening at the end of my video. So anyway, I love you. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and